Love is our true divine nature, and our heart serves as the intersection of the spiritual and physical, connecting our soul with our body as the conduit for anchoring our divinity onto the earth plane. Embodying our divinity is the key to our ascension and to manifesting our highest destiny in this life. The teachings of the heart are alchemy. Join spiritual mentor and channel Jennifer Spor each week on a sacred journey to lift the veil to remembering your divinity and meet other beautiful souls who are living the path of the awakened heart. I am feeling really profound energies today as I am sitting to record this latest episode. This episode is the 100th episode of the Path of the Awakened Heart podcast. And as I reflect on that, I feel so much gratitude for the last few years of having this honor and privilege of speaking with you, connecting with you through this platform. Having a podcast is a tremendous gift as it's truly a labor of love. And with this 100th episode and the profound energies that I am feeling today in this now moment, I am also here to share with you something else profound, very profound, that is happening both in the collective and through each of us as individuals. And that is that we are moving uh, from an information age into the embodiment age. This is something fundamental that is ending in the way that we, up to this point, have been relating to growth, to healing, to spirituality, leadership, and transformation as we know it. Up to this point, we have all been living in a society that, in large part, promotes looking outside yourself for awareness and for solutions. Really, as a collective, living from a space of orientation. And that has held its place in serving us. The collective has accumulated immense knowledge, language, frameworks, many amazing modalities and teachings. But many of us are beginning to reach a point, and you who are listening may be starting to reach this point as well, where access to all of the information and all of the awareness that you hold no longer creates transformation on its own. Information and learning brings awareness, but it does not bring sustainable embodied transformation. There is a gap that exists in the collective, between awareness and a knowing versus living embodied in that knowing. And it is largely influenced by the societal structures, by the everything that is around us that is centered around information. It's centered around follow these steps, learn this modality. If you have this information or learn how I achieve this, then you will feel fulfilled in your mission work and your life. And like I said earlier, while that has proved to be beneficial and valuable to an extent, what happens is you become exhausted from being in this constant loop of seeking information, of processing, of learning, of consuming, and preparing. You are stuck in this, you can get stuck in this loop of becoming. And the truth is that society as a whole and the personal development industry and even a lot of, spiritual communities as well are not set up at their foundation to support you, to support folks in making that shift from ending seeking and translating that remembrance and knowing of the truth of who they are into an embodied truth. And so now, speaking more on the topic of embodiment, right? So that has been the information age that we have been living in. And what's happening now, and you've likely, started to see it's not widely discussed. It's not yet streamlined, but it is out there. And this is what true embodiment of who you are really is. And so more and more are feeling that readiness, are feeling the pressure, the compression of the gap between, well, this is who I know I am. This is what I know that my mission work is, right? What it is. And but this is not, my physical reality isn't congruent with that. And so that next step, right, for us as individuals and as a collective is to move into this embodiment age. Embodiment as physical self-inhabitation. So this isn't about becoming something that you're not. It is about existing as who you already are, as who you already know about the truth of what you are and your purpose and your mission, how you're here to live and what you're here to do. So this is about taking the truth of who you already are and allowing your body, your nervous system, your relationships, your finances, how you show up in the world and your environment to reorganize around that knowing, around that truth. And this is not just in your mission work, in your business. This moves even beyond what I've mentioned as far as reorganizing in your nervous system, body relationships, finances, and how you're showing up into your day-to-day, moment-to-moment living. This is allowing full descension, not ascension. This is allowing full descension of who you are into your physical being. And when you are fully descended and grounded as yourself, as your I am, the effort disappears, the urgency disappears. There is no forcing or having to remain consciously focused on how you're showing up because you begin living that through all of the aspects of your life organically. This is both extraordinary and very ordinary because the more embodied you become in the truth of who you are in your day-to-day living, the more simple your life becomes. It is much less complex and much more direct, and it becomes as natural as breathing. My work, my mission work, and I've been, dedicated to this work full time now for almost 10 years. My work has always been centered around supporting women to live with more purpose, to tap into the truth of who they are and live as that. And my work is now primarily focused on working with women who already know the truth of who they are and who also feel the gap of who they are internally and how that is showing up in their life externally. I am here to support them, to support you in living as the truth of who you already know that you are in your day-to-day life, in your mission work, in your relationships, in your wealth, in your body. This is what is next beyond the seeking loop, beyond the loop of becoming. This is what the world, what the personal development industry, this is beyond most infrastructures that currently exist because we are literally moving into this age of embodiment. And if you're listening, you are likely feeling that. This is true completion. This is not oriented toward future becoming. You are bringing through into your external reality what you already know. You already know who you are, and you already feel what is truth for you. And the effort and any forcing that still exists in your life comes from the gap between your internal knowing and how you are choosing to live that external structure. You are beyond a space where you need to seek permission to become yourself. You already are yourself. It is time to take the next step into reorganizing your physical reality around that. And this isn't about fixing, okay? Moving into this phase of your journey here is not about fixing. It is about refinement. It is about congruency. There is no longer any need to become. There is no longer any need to wait. You already have the knowing. You already know the truth. And now it is time to reflect on that in each area of your life. And this is something that you can take action on now today, is looking at your mission work, your relationships your body, your finances. How does each area of your life line up with what you already know inside? I put a lot of emphasis around this because the number one challenge that a mission-led woman, that's how I refer to it, right? It could be for you a higher calling. The bottom line is you're here for something greater. You know this, and you're already out in the world living it. But the number one challenge that has been in the past on my own journey and in my experience supporting other women as well is the waiting, is the not getting results, is the wondering. And it's about this. It's about looking at where there are still incongruencies. That is the answer. That is the answer to receiving results. That is the answer to feeling in your heart of hearts that you're progressing, that you are continuing to evolve in your mission work and move forward. So I encourage you to create some space to reflect on that. And if you're listening and you are feeling called to explore deeper support around closing the gap between what you know and how you are living, I invite you to reach out to connect with me. And we can discuss how private mentorship can support you in closing that gap. It is time for us, for all women who know they are here for a higher calling, for all women who are mission-led, for all women who know that they are leaders and that they are here to make a difference. It is time for us to show up fully expressed. As when we do that, when each and every one of us lives fully, physically expressed in the truth of who we are, that is how we create the most impact. Thank you for listening to Path of the Awakened Heart. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or pathoftheawakenedheart.com so you never miss an episode. To learn more about living with an awakened heart and navigating your ascension journey, visit me at jenniferspor.com.